Here's some tips on the best practices that you can do. I call it tinkering. We're just spending time in certain positions, mastering them, shoring up some things, right? So, for example, we have this concept in wrestling where every practice has to be Army boot camp. And we're just getting, we've got to either, the coach has to beat the hell out of us or we have to beat the hell out of ourselves in order to get tough and get good at wrestling. Where really, there is a component there to that. Let's not kid ourselves. But we also need to be able to, how come when you get a tilt, you get a lot of 1 counts? Well, guess what? The guys wrestling on TV get 5 counts. How come when you get to your feet, you have to get to your feet 5 times to get an escape? The guys on TV get an escape not every time, but almost every time they get to their feet, they get their escape because they're very efficient at isolating the hands, stepping forward, putting back pressure, right? If you have our online academy, push your opponent's face back with your right shoulder, right? Because we're trying to extend the elbows from the ribs, extend the hands from the belt buckle, extend our opponent, make them lift off with their heels so they're extended forward, their hands are weak, right? Isolating the hands from our belt buckle to our hip bone. All of that, they're good at it and you're not. And here you are doing real hard, sloppy drilling, coaches yelling at you, blowing a whistle, and then you do a bunch of live wrestling, which is probably sloppy. Then you go do a bunch of sprints until somebody throws up, and then you do torture push-ups, and then you circle up and say, be great on 3. 1, 2, 3, be great. And everybody runs out of the wrestling room acting like they're getting ready to earn a scholarship to Penn State. And I'm like, what just happened here? This is just crap. Well, there was no skill, right? And I'm not knocking those super duper tough practices. We're going to have one tonight possibly, right? But we have to have a lot of drill time and skill time too. And you coaches need to do better too. We need to understand that if I have to stand up 5 times to get 1 point for an escape, I better be tough. I better be in shape because I sure in the hell can't wrestle. So we have a phrase, I want my state champ to beat your state champ 6-0. My state champ's hair is not even messed up. Why is that? And I'm not saying that's always the case, but that's like the vision. Because we're in the stance, you shoot, we head block, boom, re-attack on a leg. You try to key lock, we shelf the leg, boom, we score, ride you out, get a wrist, all right, get a 5 count, okay, 5-0, second period. We pick bottom, you're trying to get our arms, you won't get our arms, right? Some of you give up your arms on bottom because you wrestle hard, tough, and sloppy. And I'm like, you gave your opponent your arms. I'll rewind the tape, and I'm like, your opponent did not get your wrist, you gave it to them. Well, I'm moving nonstop on bottom, like my coach said. Well, you're not supposed to move nonstop on bottom. The college men don't, so quit doing it. That's another thing that we do wrong. We just think that we can out-effort somebody. You're going to have to put forth so much effort that you feel like you're going to throw up after every match. Well, most matches, right? The close ones. Even when my wrestler beats your wrestler 6-0, and I say my hair's not even messed up, that's just sort of a phrase. We are tired. It was a lot of work, but we didn't have to stand up 7 times to get an escape. We didn't have to get to a single leg 4 times to get a takedown. We're effective, we're efficient, and not all of our kids are, but that's their vision. So you sell your athletes on the vision of what we want to be. So some practices should look like gymnastics practice. When you go to gymnastics, the girl on the balance beam is working her, whatever her move is, where they do their little leg split and land, and then they wobble. And then her pinky wasn't twisted perfectly, right? And the coach is like, okay, go again. And the coach walks away. And that girl does that same thing. And then every once in a while she falls off. And I sit there and watch. Then she hops back up there. There's no coach ranting at her, screaming at her to work harder, go harder, do more. No, leave her alone. She is trying to develop because she's never had a 9.0 on anything on the balance beam because she wobbles and her pinky isn't pointed like this. Well, guess what? When you knee slide for your stand-up, you're not knee sliding enough. When you level change, you're not level changing enough. When you shoot head in the chest or head outside, you're supposed to shoot up like a check mark. You're not doing that. You're shooting like a letter L, or worse yet, very little level change, like an airplane crash. So I already know a single leg. Sure you do, but your level change sucks. Why is that, coach? Well, because the coach blew the whistle 132 times, and we did level change double legs until everybody threw up 3 times, but no one did a level change. So let's quit blowing the whistle and screaming and yelling at the kids. Some of my best practices, I'm not even tired. I'm not even sweaty. When I learned how to be a leg rider, and it helped tremendously, my brother was an NCAA champ with legs, and I was All-American, it changed my whole career. And we would go to the Oklahoma State wrestling room before football games, and we wouldn't even put our shoes on. We just kick our tennis shoes off, boom, jump on the mat. I'm going to work this stuff Joe C. told me. I'm going to work these tricks that Kendall Cross does, that he showed me. Chuck Barbie, his lockdown, he does this. He's almost pins himself on his lockdown. Oh, yeah, that's right. He showed me that. I asked him at practice. I saw him do it in the dual meet against Purdue last week, and I asked him, let's work on that, Tony. Okay. You know what? Our key lock, our opponent is picking it up. John said to put your opponent behind you and slide your left hip pocket off of the tricep down to the elbow and put back pressure into your opponent's ribs with the tag of your shorts. Okay, well, I got to do that with my key lock. Get there again. Now try to pick it up. My brother's like, oh, shit, I can't pick this thing up. I'm like, are you kidding me? Try it. He goes, I can't. I'm like, God damn, let me try it. He gets in there. Boom, his key lock was tremendous. I thought my shoulder was going to come out of socket. I'm like, man, okay, 30 minutes. Let's go to the football game. I just got better. Confidence is soaring. You guys, after the practice where everybody threw up twice, your confidence isn't soaring because you didn't get good at anything. So your best practices oftentimes are the ones where you are becoming technically skilled and dangerous. And I will tell you, in the state of Missouri last year, out of all the classes, class 1, 2, 3, 4, 23% of all of the Missouri state champions, all of them came from my room. They trained with us, me and my coaches. Not just once. They didn't come to one practice 3 or 4 years ago. A lot of the academy guys, there's some douchebags out there, right? Everybody wants to claim. I don't want to claim anybody. I don't care. These kids train with us year round. For years, and they came the entire 8-month off season, which is all they're allowed in Missouri. Some of these stupid communist rules we have. 23% on average over the past 4 years is 19%. And our girls were averaging, we had 18% of all state champions this past year. So our kids are winning. Now, do we have tough practices? Sure. Do sometimes people throw up at practice? Sure. But is at least part of my practice tinkering? Sure it is. Now, the problem is this. You may need to tinker on getting a 5 count on your tilt. You might need to tinker with getting your escape on your stand-up. You might need to tinker at your side lift. You might need to tinker with picking up your key lock or key locking appropriate, and maybe your Russian spin sucks. You're like, okay, my key lock's awesome, my Russian spin sucks. Okay, what's the steps that Nick said? I got to drill that. So as a coach, it's tough for me to have little tinkering sessions because everyone's different. You might get stuck in cradles. You might not be able to snake and spin. Your cutback off of a snake and spin may suck. Your leg riding defense might suck. The saddle might fall off the side of the horse on your leg riding. All right, you're going to pinch and square, arch till it hurts, eyeballs over the fingertips, right? Okay. So you need to do this on your own. So you have to practice on your own because the coach has to run a practice for everybody. And what you need to do is a practice for yourself. So if you're practicing for yourself, don't just have another Tommy Tough Guy practice. We need to have some of those too, but I'm pretty sure our coaches are going to make me do some of that. I need to have a tinkering practice where I can get very good because I actually want my confidence to soar. And I actually want to stand up and score, get a tilt and get a 5 count, key lock and hit my Russian spin and get 2. You know, I actually want to ride you out with my legs for 2 minutes and not have the saddle fall off the horse. I actually want to have a level change. I want my momentum coming up on my head and the chest and head outside leg attacks. So I got to have my check mark. I can't have a check mark without a level change. I got to work my level change. So you got to do this stuff on your own. So let's have more tinkering sessions, and especially when we're drilling on our own. Write this stuff out, map it out, and I think your wrestling's going to take off. Good luck.